Have you ever wondered why you seem to end up in the same relationship cycles? It's like you're dating the same person over and over again, but in a different body. It's probably because your type is toxic. Today I'll be explaining why the relationships that you naturally gravitate to might not be the best ones for you. But first, I'm going to tell you a story about myself. I used to love watching the show Criminal Minds, and it stars Shema Moore as Derek and Matthew Gruber, I think his name is, as Reed. And the first time I watched Criminal Minds, I loved Morgan so much. I loved him with all my heart. I had such a big crush on him because Shema Moore is kind of hot. And recently I started watching the show again, and I noticed that I actually found Morgan really annoying, and I liked Reed instead. And that was fascinating to me, and I actually took some time to think about it, and I realized that Derek was horrible. He was emotionally unavailable. He was a player. He had commitment issues. Definitely not the kind of guy you would want to be in a relationship with. But I really, really liked him at the time because I was in a period in my life where I was still attracting emotionally unavailable men. And the reason why I found Derek, who was horrible to be in a relationship with, the reason why I found him attractive was because I was still in that phase of my life. I hadn't healed yet. That was my type at the time. Now, if you had asked me, I would never have told you that my type is emotionally unavailable men. But the truth is, that was my type. Contrast that with Reed. Reed is loyal. He's emotionally available. He wears his feelings on his sleeve. He's very smart, very stable. I know he has his quirks, but compared to Morgan, he's somebody that you could be in a healthy relationship with if you understood each other. And when I saw that the second time around, that's who I was attracted to, it showed me that I had definitely done some work on myself and I had changed. I'd known how to recognize emotional red flags and relationship red flags. And now I would definitely not pick somebody like Morgan, regardless of how many packs he has, whether 6 or 8 or 10 packs, nobody cares. Because no matter how good a person looks, if they make you feel bad about yourself, you should not be with them, period. And it just got me thinking about how what we say is our type is most oftentimes just what we're comfortable with. It's just something that we gravitate towards. And most people don't realize that your type is based off of something you either had when you were a child or something you were lacking when you were a child. And for most people, it's actually something you were lacking. You're transferring the trauma from your childhood experiences to your adult relationships. What your inner child is trying to do is to recreate that dynamic so that you can fix it. So your mind thinks that if it recreates that dynamic around yourself and you're once again with somebody who doesn't want you, somehow if you fix it as an adult, it will make up for everything that you went through as a child. Do you see how ridiculous that is? But your subconscious doesn't see it as ridiculous. And the reason why we have to pay attention is that your subconscious actually controls your experiences. We think that on a conscious level, like I said, if you asked me, what's your type? I would say, well, I want somebody who's kind, somebody who's nice, somebody who loves me. But deep down inside, what I really wanted was somebody who was emotionally unavailable, because I felt like if I could fix them, if I could make them want me, then somehow I fixed what went wrong in my childhood. Before you immediately rush to saying that's my type, I want you to check and examine that what you're calling your type is not rooted in chaos. It's really something that is healthy, because for most of us, we don't gravitate towards healthy things because unfortunately, very few of us actually had really, really healthy childhoods with healthy relationship dynamics displayed. And if you did not have the healthiest relationship dynamics to mirror in your childhood, you're unlikely to just instantly gravitate towards healthy things. And that's why, people want to have the bad boy, the guy who plays hard to get, the one who has made it very clear that he's not interested in committing, but somehow you feel like you are going to be the reason why he decides to commit. You want to challenge yourself. Or the guy who has made it clear that he's up to no good, but now you want to change him, and so you end up in a relationship where you're trying to force somebody to be something that they've told you clearly from day one that they have no interest in being. It's the reason why you're still in situationships where you're accepting breadcrumbs and hoping that somehow the breadcrumbs will form a whole loaf, even though the breadcrumber has told you that he has no interest in being serious with you. And you're wondering, why do you keep doing this? But the truth is, it's because you're gravitating towards what's bad for you. If you pay attention, you realize that what's good for you looks boring because you're thinking, nah, that's not my type. But it's very important to check your unhealthy patterns and your unhealthy desires. It's kind of like chocolate chip cookies and Greek yogurt. When you are sad, the likelihood is that you probably want cookies, but cookies aren't really healthy for you and you shouldn't have them all the time. Greek yogurt, on the other hand, if it's plain Greek yogurt with no sugar, it's not the nicest thing in the world, but it does the best for your body. Bringing it back to relationships, what you need in your life is Greek yogurt, something nourishing and nutritional. On the surface, it looks boring. It looks like it's unappealing. It looks like it's not what you want, but it's doing better for your body. Boring relationships, quote unquote, are better for your heart because they're stable. You do not need somebody who's hot today, cold tomorrow, here today, gone the next. And that, unfortunately, is what a lot of people call their type. So if you want to know if your type is toxic, first of all, ask yourself, what is your type? What do you think? Like, let's even focus on a logical level. On a logical level, if somebody asks you today, what's your type? Write the list and then write what you have been attracting. What are the characters that you see in the last 3 people that you dated? And ask yourself, if you're saying that this healthy thing, because most of us are going to say, if you write the list, oh, I want somebody kind, somebody who's available. But if it's in contrast to what you've been attracting, then something is wrong in the middle. The challenge is to check where that disconnect is. Check where that disconnect is, and don't instantly, the next time that you're out with somebody, don't instantly jump to the person who you have a spark with, because sometimes that spark, it's craziness. At least give it like 3 dates before you shut everything down, because the truth is, you can't really trust yourself 1000%. Because if you have been attracting unhealthy people, the likelihood is that something about you is trying to recreate unhealthy patterns. I'm also going to challenge you to gravitate towards what's intentionally put yourself in a different situation. If maybe you only date people of a certain culture or a certain race, try dating somebody outside of that dynamic. Because sometimes even those cultural expectations, even those cultural biases are unhealthy for you. So just try. The next time you want to go on a date, if somebody who is somebody you would ordinarily not consider, and I'm not saying date crazy people, okay? We're trying to move towards healthy. So I'm not saying if there's a maniac who's asking you to go on a date, go with him. I'm saying if there's somebody who's asking you to go on a date, or you happen to be connected to somebody and they don't excite you, they just look boring, they're ordinarily not what you would consider, not because of anything overtly wrong, but just because it's different, I would say try it. Try something different. Date somebody of another race. Go somewhere where you ordinarily wouldn't go. Expose yourself to a different dynamic. I did this recently where I was constantly going to a place that felt familiar to me because all of the people around there seemed to have the same mindset as I did. But I realized that this is not helping me. This is really toxic. Yes, it was familiar to me, but it wasn't just what I wanted to do with my life anymore. And it wasn't nurturing me, it wasn't helping me. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna have to brave the discomfort of something new so that I can open myself up to possibly a different experience. And it's scary. It's scary to leave the familiar and do something that is new entirely. But to be able to have new experiences, you're gonna have to step away from what's familiar. In my previous video, you can check it out here, I talked about how Nicole, Ari Parker, Ciara, and Viola Davis attracted true love and how they were intentional about creating room for something different. You can watch that video here. So first thing you're going to do is write those 2 lists and then ask yourself, where's the disconnect? What's happening here? Secondly, open yourself up to something different. Try something new. Do something differently than what you would ordinarily gravitate towards. And even if you start from friendships, if there's a group of people that you said, I'm never going to go here, or an activity that you said, I'm never going to try it. Open yourself up to different things. The likelihood is that to be able to have healthy love, especially if you've had a pattern of unhealthy love, you're going to need to be in new spaces so that you can even see that something healthy is possible for you. The truth is, you might have to date outside of your type to find true love. But if you do find true love, isn't it going to be worth it? It's worth it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.